Hey everybody, it's Matt Williams and Kelly O'Keefe from Brand Federation, back with an edition of Beer and Brands, which we haven't done for a few months.
It's been too long. Yeah, we've been missing you guys.
That's right. So welcome back. We're here with our friends at Vossen Brewery in Scott's Addition in Richmond, and shameless plug for Vossen. The beer's amazing.
It's really
People are fabulous. So if you want to come to a place, have a couple of beers with a vibe that is totally welcoming and awesome, come to Vossen and Scott's Addition. This place is great. So,
I'll drink to that.
So cheers. Kelly, what we're going to do today is talk about, and I got to drink to that too. Hang on.
It's good stuff.
We want to talk about winners and losers, brand winners and losers from the Olympics. Now, our legal counsel at Brand Federation Esquire has told us we're not allowed to say the O word.
Oh, we can't say the O word.
I think, in true brand management fashion, if we do say it and they come after us, it's a good publicity move for us.
So if we say Olympics and they sue us, we might get some ink?
We're going to get some ink.
I like that.
So the summer games that are currently going on in Paris, otherwise known as the
Olympics.
Okay,
all
perfect.
right.
So let's talk about brand winners and losers. The Olympics has traditionally been, one of the most prominent brand platforms.
It's up there with the
world.
Super Bowl. It comes once every 4 years, every 2 years for the if you include the Winter Games, and everyone watches, and they watch in real time, a lot of them.
That's right, and brands pay millions and millions and millions of dollars to participate in these games. So let's jump right in. I have a winner.
All right.
And it's an advertising winner, near and dear to both of our hearts.
I love that.
And it's Eli Lilly. And I think Eli Lilly's ads that they're running in the Olympics are awesome.
They've been great.
It's hard to do great advertising for pharmaceutical companies, right?
Yeah,
as we know, they're regulated. They tend to fall back on kind of common or well-used or well-researched advertising cliches and approaches, right? But Lilly's advertising is human. It's frank and honest. Their tagline is a medicine company. They're not trying to talk about advocates for human wellness, and they're a medicine company. They make medicine, and medicine makes people well. And they're artfully done. They're beautifully shot. They're beautifully written. And I just want to give a shout out to Lilly for doing some terrific advertising in a category that's hard to do great advertising.
You know what I love about that is that we're into building brands through all methods. And we talk a lot about that on Beer and Brands. But one of those methods is the great advertising communication.
Yeah.
That reminds people why you do what you do and who you are. And I think that's great. That's a great way to start.
Just connects on a really human level. So kudos to Lilly for doing some great advertising.
I think that's great.
Who's on your list of winners?
Well, I've got to say, at the very top of my list has been Snoop Dogg.
I mean, come on, right?
Right? There is a young version of Kelly O'Keefe who was listening to Snoop Dogg albums on the radio when the kids weren't around, so they wouldn't hear the language. That can't believe that the current version of Kelly O'Keefe is watching Snoop with Martha Stewart watching dressage and really getting into it.
Watching Snoop comment on dressage was one of the most fun, surreal moments of the entire
Incredible. And he dressed for it.
Amazing.
But he has been amazing in these games. He's gotten together with the athletes to cheer them on, to meet them one-on-one, to connect with them. He's talked about each different sport and really gotten into it. And it's like, hallelujah for Snoop.
How can you not like the guy, right?
He's likable. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's brought a new sense of humanity, I think, to the Olympic Games, where he's really made it accessible to us all. So kudos to Snoop, and kudos to anyone at NBC involved in the decision, which I can't imagine would be an immediately intuitive one, to say, let's get Snoop here.
I know. We have dressage. Obviously, we need Snoop Dogg.
Of course.
Right. You can see that meeting at NBC. So speaking of NBC, here's somebody on my list, NBC Peacock. Have you watched the games on the Peacock app?
It's the only way I'm watching them. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Every night.
The knock on on-demand television was always, but you can't do news and you can't do sports. And I think Peacock has completely blown up that belief. And the way they're running the Peacock app, and I'm watching it on Apple TV, The way they're running the Olympic coverage on that app is unbelievable. I can watch everything I want to watch. The UX is brilliant. It's easy to navigate. It's all right at my fingertips. It feels like it's happening real time if I want it, but if I want replays, I can get replays. They've just done a wonderful job of covering an incredibly complicated event and putting it in front of me in an on-demand way that I never thought could happen. They've done an amazing job.
No question. I think this really puts Peacock on the map. I know it's been around for a while. It's never really had the traction of some of the other services. And I think the Olympics was their way to say, we deserve to be one of your streaming services.
Yeah, right.
And I'm actually considering not canceling my subscription after the Olympics because it's that good.
I'm going to keep it. And I've been a fan, but it's been awesome. So Peacock's a winner.
Yeah.
Who else is on your list?
Well, I think you gotta give a shout out to Simone Biles.
Oh man, big time.
I mean, I know it's almost too easy to say Simone Biles because everyone's crazy about her, and they were crazy about her before the Olympics.
Yep.
But if you remember, if we go back 4 years, she stepped out of some competition because she was struggling with mental health problems, anxiety, and stress, and she took some heat for that. Mm-hmm. But she also said, look, I'll take the heat. I'm not afraid to say that I have these problems. And the rest of America, who also has these problems, and the rest of the world said, hey, you go, girl, good for you, and good for you doing that.
Right.
This time she's come back. She's been open about talking about meeting with her therapist before she gets out there and competes. She's done an incredible job competing. Just shown that she truly earns that title of GOAT. And even better, she has cheered on everyone else, not just the other USA team members, but people from the other countries. So I'm sure you saw.
Totally. The Brazilian gymnast.
The Brazilian gymnast wins. She gets gold medals. She beats out 2 Americans. The 2 Americans were on the stand bowing to her to support her in that win. That's sportsmanship. Kudos to Simone. Kudos to everybody on the USA team. It just tells us what this was supposed to be about in the first place, which is celebrating sportsmanship.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think that's right. I think even more broadly, you could say women's athletics in general is a huge winner here, right? So we looked at some statistics that said there's a 50% increase in the number of ads that feature female athletes in this year's games versus the games 4 years ago.
It's incredible.
So it's building on a trend that I think we're seeing in other sports. You're seeing it certainly in soccer. You're seeing it in basketball with Caitlin Clark, where we're finally paying the attention that we should pay to women's athletics. And I think the Olympics has concentrated that attention in a way that's really cool to watch.
When you've got people like Katie Ledecky out there, I mean, athlete after athlete, dominating the sport, but doing it in a way that also celebrates even her competitors. You know, we're going to fight while we're in that pool, we're going to get out and we're going to hug. That is just what we want to see. Yeah, I think women have changed the sport. They're just as competitive, but they've shown us a level of cooperation that has reminded us of all the goodness that we associate with the Olympics brand. And Olympics brand lawyers, I'm saying it in a good way, so please don't sue me.
What he means is the summer games currently going on in Paris.
That's it. That's what
he means. All right. We've talked about who we think are the gold medal winners on the podium for the Olympics of Paris this year, right? Really amazing stuff happening there. There are things happening on the other side that we would say are non-medal winners, right? Yeah. We're kind, so we'll call them non-medal winners or losers, whatever you want to call them, right? I have one.
Okay.
And it's a brand I love, and it's a brand who's been doing fabulous marketing for decades, right? That's like an icon of great brand marketing, and it's Nike.
Great brand marketing.
And the reason I put them in the loser category is because they're running a campaign now that is beautifully done, artfully done, as you would fully expect from Nike, because that's the way they do advertising. But the concept is winning isn't for everyone. And they're highlighting these famous competitors like Kobe Bryant, right, and LeBron James, and people who are known as intense competitors.
Yeah.
And the reason I hate it for them is because I think the Nike brand for decades has been about inspiring the athlete in all of us.
That's the mission.
If you have a body, you're an athlete. We're all athletes, right? We all deserve to be inspired by athletics. And if you think about, the recent ad or a couple of years ago that gave me goosebumps when I saw it, which was the overweight kid running up the hill.
Yeah.
Right? Just that overweight kid cresting the hill, running as fast as he can run, jogging, just do it. Freaking brilliant, right? Athletics are for everybody. Stuff. And now they're doing this winning isn't for everyone, which to me is explicitly exactly wrong for that brand. It says some of us are competitors and some of us aren't. Now, it might be true, and it's, like I said, it's beautifully done, but it's not what Nike's about. Nike's not about drawing that distinction. It's about eliminating that distinction. And I hate that for them.
Yeah, it's completely off mission now that you pointed out, Matt. And I think that's interesting because Nike hasn't just done great ads. They haven't just supported great athletes with sponsorships, always seeming to set the right tone. But they've done it all driven by a true mission and conviction that says we all can participate. And there is no one who's a loser if you get off that couch and you get going.
Right, exactly.
And yeah, to say there are winners and losers, to say that Nike is really only about those who are the winners is a real problem. I think they've lost a little bit of their soul there. I hope they find it back. We believe that brands are driven by core convictions, and theirs has always been, let's all participate together. We can all do it. That's the Olympic spirit. These have been a little off.
Yeah, it didn't strike me as Nike.
You know who did a better job of capturing Nike's brand essence than Nike is the great work that Dick's Sporting Goods has done.
Yes.
I mean, they are talking about participating in athletics from a childhood on. They invite us all to celebrate both the wins and the loses.
Yep.
Both the joy of sport when it's all going right and the joy of sport when maybe it doesn't go right.
Yeah.
They've done it artfully and simply, and I just think they've actually done a great job of starting to fill that space left vacant by Nike.
Yeah, I agree. And it's so interesting to see a brand like Dick's, a retail brand, take up that mantle of the emotional connection that people have with athletics, in a way that competes with a brand that's as venerable as Nike. They're doing a great job. I think it's really cool.
It's been said in the sporting category that it's almost hard to do anything because Nike has just sucked up all the oxygen in the room.
Right.
Every other ad looks like a Nike ad. But now that Nike is seemingly obsessing with their sponsored athletes, they have left this space open, and Dick's has walked right in and reminded us of the humble start of all great athletes. And I just think great work.
Yeah,
great work.
Done by our friends here in Richmond at Arts and Letters.
That's right.
Right.
Kudos to Arts and Letters,
Good
you
for
guys.
You guys. Great work.
I just love this campaign. It's right on.
Yep. Okay. Who else is on your list of losers?
AI technology.
AI is a loser.
It's a loser.
How does that work? What do you mean?
This has been a game that's all about the human spirit. And we have seen every part of this Olympics happening with real flesh and blood. It hasn't been a particularly high-tech game. It wasn't a particularly high-tech opening with the opening ceremony. We saw little vignettes of artists and others who were doing their thing. And it's France. They were definitely doing their thing. But it feels so human that the whole discussion about our technological age has been put on hold for the period of this Olympics.
I love that. What a cool idea. So the idea of the absence of the human spirit loses to the extent that the human spirit is elevated by the games.
It really is.
I think that's fabulous. What an interesting point.
There isn't anything awesome that has happened at this Olympics or at these summer games. There isn't anything awesome that could be done by AI. Sorry, AI, you haven't won this one yet.
That's great. Here's the last one on my list.
Okay.
And the loser is anybody who swam in the Seine River. It's like, it cannot be good for the brand of the River Seine, the city of Paris, the country of France, to have people swimming in their river, immediately getting out of the river and puking their guts out because they're drinking E. coli polluted water. Like, this is not a good look for the Seine.
The river, it's good to be in a boat on the Seine.
My God.
It's beautiful. You're in a boat going down the middle of it. Don't get out of the boat. Stay in the boat.
Stay in the damn boat.
But you know, I will say that France has done pretty well with this.
I think they've done okay. The city of Paris has shown, by and large, beautifully because it's Paris and it's beautiful, right? So you watch the Peacock coverage, and they have interstitials between the competitions that are beautiful panoramic shots of Paris, and it's hard to have a more beautiful city than the City of Lights. Right?
Absolutely. It's beautiful. It's weird. It's iconic. They had a menage a trois in the opening ceremonies. And this is what the French do, right? They stayed on brand.
The good news is the French don't give a shit whether we care or not.
No, they
don't care whether we like it or not.
They really don't care.
We know. They know we don't understand.
And we love them all the more for it.
That's
so
right.
I think they will see tourism continue to grow because they have invited the world to come and share what makes Paris great. And we're proud of them for doing that.
That's right. So we have winners. We have losers. We have people on the medal stand. We have people who didn't quite make the medal podium. But what we have, I think, in this Olympics is a reminder of how powerful these games can be. I'm feeling engaged in these Olympics in a way that I haven't in the past. I'm loving it. I'm watching these amazing athletes compete in ways that remind me of how big the Olympics were when we were kids in the 70s. It was the most dominant cultural event in the athletic life of the country, and it feels like these are engaging. Maybe not to that extent, but they're getting back, and that feels good.
It's such an important reminder in brands and in life that goodwill and human connection are still the most powerful things out there. And at a time when we're at war in the Middle East, we have economic challenges, we have political challenges, we have climate challenges. For us all to take a few weeks off and remind ourselves of just how much goodness there is in our species and in this world, that's a good thing.
That is pretty cool. So there you have it. That's Kelly's take and my take on the winners and losers associated with the games currently going on in Paris, otherwise known as the Olympics. We'd love to hear yours. So put your thoughts about our thoughts or any winners or losers that we didn't mention in this video in the comments below. Give us a like, give us a follow. And for Kelly O'Keefe and the folks at Brand Federation, thanks for joining. Thanks to Boston for having us here. And
Absolutely.
let's drink to the human spirit in the Olympic Games.
Let's start drinking.
Cheers.